And we're starting in North Africa, Tunisia to be more precise. More than 5,000 demonstrators held a show of support yesterday throughout Tunisia for their president, Kais Saied, whose power grab has stirred a bit of controversy in the birthplace of the Arab Spring. Now, as estimated, 3,000 of them that rallied in the capital Tunis exceeded that which gathered a week earlier to oppose him grabbing power, in fact, sacking a prime minister a couple of months ago and even having a new one last week.
Now, Saied, who was elected on an anti-system ticket in late 2019, sacked the prime minister, suspended parliament and granted himself judicial powers back on the 25th of July 2021. Now, this was a move he followed up by measures that effectively allowed the president to, quote-unquote, rule by decree. Now, he said his action seeks to, quote-unquote, once again, save Tunisia from imminent peril. Now, and a social economic crisis aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic.
All right, so there you have it. There were balloons and support for President Kais Saied, and there you have it with a message, his picture being draped everywhere with the national flag of the country in Tunis. Now, there was also calls for corruption to be stopped in the country, and that is why, since he took over, removing parliament a couple of months ago, many called it perhaps a coup. But then again, you look at the people of Tunisia and on the streets, look like they're supporting their president.
Well, a lot of them came out and they came out to protest against the coup, in quotes, with a lot of them shouting down, saying, shut down the coup. Now, you know that he has come out to suspend parliament, and he has also removed the immunity clause. Now, with that immunity being lifted, a lot of parliamentarians have been arrested, and a lot of people have not been allowed to leave the country of Tunisia. Now, while this has been going on, a lot of some other countries, Egypt, they've been supportive, Saudi Arabia, they've supported this move, and even the UAE has come out to also support the move done by President Saied.
All right, so quite an interesting scenes as we saw it yesterday. Well, let's bring you some of them with the shouts and chants in the capital of Tunis. All right, so lots of chance for support for President Kais Saied in the country of Tunisia, the biggest party in the country, another party. Some of them, they've not been to parliament in a couple of months as the gates have been shut. You want to follow News Central because we're having to talk to them and, of course, people in Tunisia and our correspondent in our subsequent news bulletins right here on News Central. Let's come down home to Nigeria, where President Muhammadu Buhari, quite a good story, you have to say, even if it came from unfortunate circumstances. Now, he's bestowed a posthumous award on a hero named Joe Blackson, who saved 13 people from drowning but died, unfortunately, while attempting to save more people. Now, back in July 28, 2018, Blackson died while saving others following a boat accident on the Abonema-Bakana waterway in Rivers State. Now, President Buhari, while presenting the posthumous award to his wife and 2 children, he described Blackson as a true Nigerian hero.
Wow, such an inspirational one. Now, the president noted that he presented a presidential special award for bravery and patriotism to the late hero, adding that his administration will continue to celebrate the best of Nigeria and Nigerians.
That is the picture of the late Joe Blackson and his lovely family. And he passed away on July 28, 2018, while saving other 13 people and even tried to do more.
Right.
Talking about giving your life selflessly for others. And now the president has posthumously given him a great presidential honor, even though he's no longer there, but the wife and family with Nigeria's president. It's a good story that comes out from a very, very sad, unfortunate situation.
Well, Olisa, people can come out to argue whether this is a good story or not, because when this happened 2 years ago, Lisa. It didn't happen last month.
Okay.
We had independence last year. We had a lot of time for this hero to be celebrated.
Yeah, but
it took 2 years,
I understand.
for this to happen.
I understand.
Of which a lot of information, a lot of people had to come on social media. Then Twitter was still active. People came on Twitter to say, why has this man not been declared a hero? I mean, look at what happened in France, where a non-immigrant, remember the Malian non-immigrant who saved a 4-year-old child from falling, a baby. Now, the president came out in a matter of days to do something about that situation. Why did he have to take us 2 years, Olisa? Are we celebrating the fact that it takes 2 years for someone to be recognized if social media did not actually put pressure.
Well,
a petition was put out to this. I mean, over 200 people signed this petition for this man to be recognized as a hero. Are we saying it takes 2 years, Odisa?
Now, that's the big question. But at the end of the day, the recognition did come. So
with social media.
And that is the power of social media. Should be the president said we should use it for positive things.
Social media that has now been banned. This is Twitter we're talking about. If not for Twitter, will this man be recognized today?
What scenario would you rather have? That his story just gets swept under the backbone, under the table, and nothing happens, or like no matter how, perhaps delayed, but not denied. Imagine what it will do for the family. Imagine what it will do in terms of the good feel that okay, if you do something in this country, you might get recognized. Because sacrifice for life is a huge sacrifice.
Imagine what the damage it has caused for the past 2 years in the family.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can share with us your thoughts and opinions on some of our stories right here by calling the numbers on your screen, and also reaching us on social media, on Instagram, also on Facebook, and even outside Nigeria. Yes, we are on Twitter. No need to use your VPN if you're in South Africa or perhaps Uganda. Well, still in Nigeria, though, some unknown gunmen yesterday set ablaze the offices and Directorate of the State Services, that's DSS, and Federal Road Safety Corps in Inewi, Anambra states in the southeast of the country, leaving 2 people dead on their trail. Now, also set ablaze was the country home of a chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, the APC, that's Joe Ibokwe.
Now, this is quite a shocking one. The police public relations officer, that's a PPRO in the state, Tochukwu Ikenga, while confirming the story, noted that the identities of the victims have not been made known, but reports say the casualties might have been hit by stray bullets during firing by the gunmen. Now, this is a very sad story. We know the Southeast now has been quite volatile with in terms of insecurity, in terms of onslaught and manslaughter in the southeastern region. Let's not forget that IPOB also declared a sit-at-home order, especially for the October 1st, that was declared a public holiday, a day to celebrate Nigeria's independence. And we also have gotten information or reports making the rounds about how some unknown gunmen in this case came out and they set ablaze the building of a chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, Joe Ibokwe.
So that's since we're circulating around social media, they say no smoke without fire. But that's when you look at that, those images out there in the southeast, you wonder what is really going on with shots fired and people also losing their lives. And it's time for our Africa report, and this takes us down south to Zimbabwe. Now, I want to listen up for this one. The former late president of the Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe's family, now they're claiming that his spirit is causing the deaths of his tribesmen who are at the forefront of calling for the exhumation of his remains. Now, Mugabe's family spokesperson, that's Leo Mugabe, said his uncle died a bitter man. Now, Mugabe, who died on the 6th of September in 2019, 2 years after his ouster was buried at his rural home following a month-long standoff between the family and the government.
Now, the government was building a mausoleum for the former president that the family turned down, opting for a village burial. Now, our correspondent Lala joins us now for more on that story. Good morning, Lala. Welcome to the program. Tell us what's the updates regarding this situation, because we have gotten information that the widow has been fined for this.
Well, this story really started late last year, and early this year, it's sort of like intensified, and we had a time when the former First Lady, Grace Mugabe, was actually summoned to a local court, and she was fined about 5 gods. And she was ordered to do certain things and certain rituals, though reports say she refused. And the people then decided, okay, the chiefs, that is the traditional leaders, they decided, you know what, we're going to go ahead and go to court and have the exhumation order given to us. However, up until this point, the issue is still in court. It's still a back and forth issue going on.
Remember that when he died, his burial in the first place was a lot of, bits and bobs about will he be buried in the state place where people can see him in a mausoleum, or will he be buried in the village according to the traditional Shona rites in Zimbabwean culture. But now there's talks about mysterious deaths affecting his tribesmen and, kinsmen and people. What are they saying about this? Is it that the ultimate issue is to go and exhume the body of a former president? Is that where we're going to get to?
Okay, this story is quite interesting. I mean, for a Christian country like Zimbabwe, you wouldn't think that people would go that far to make national claims, in public, that our dead person's spirit is bitter and he's causing the deaths in these people and what. But the other traditional leaders are saying that this is rubbish. There's nothing like that. These people that are being spoken of are actually people that are well off in age. Some of them are over 80. So if they are bedridden, it's got nothing to do with Mugabe's spirit avenging his death, but it's just because of old age. Actually, one of the chiefs that was also at the forefront of calling for the exhumation, he died last month of COVID-19 complications. But the family, some people in the family, not everybody in the family, mind you, some of the people in the family are saying, it's his spirit. That's why these people are facing this. That's why these people are ill. That's why these people are dying, is because of this. But then there are other members of the family that are saying, no. Yes, he died a bitter man, considering the circumstances, but it's not his spirit avenging his death. And the family has also called for, an easy sorting out of this whole issue. They are asking that the grave that is at the National Heroes Acre be covered up and they leave their person to be buried and to continue lying at the village, Kutama village.
Right. Now, Lala, we hear that Rwanda is actually considering hiring teachers from Zimbabwe as the government seeks to fix a long-standing skills gap and language barriers following multiple reforms of its educational sector. Now, while it's not yet clear how many teachers the country would source and the timeline, but President Paul Kagame has actually told a joint trade and investment conference that his country needs quality teachers urgently as the two countries explore mutual beneficial business opportunities.
Well, Lala, so looking at this story now, Rwanda had recently frozen all public service recruitment except for teachers, as the Education Ministry works to fill over 13,000 vacant teaching positions. So are we saying that, Zimbabweans are going to jump on this, perhaps teaching jobs elsewhere away from Harare?
This is a very tricky one. I actually spoke to the president of ATUS earlier. The issue is Zimbabwe has been having a problem with paying teachers. So there are two issues already. There's the issue of shortage of teachers. Zimbabwe has a teacher deficit of 90,000 that need to be, to be covered, that needs to be covered. Then secondly, the teachers that are there are not being paid. Over the past 2 years, the teacher unions and teachers and government have been, going back and forth, the demonstrations, protests, calling for strikes because they feel the money that they are being paid is not enough. So it's going to work out very interestingly because there may be some teachers that may jump ship and say, okay, if Rwanda is going to pay us, we are going. But there is also this issue. So if Rwanda then goes on and imports more teachers from Zimbabwe, the teacher deficit in the country will widen.
Right, Lala. I mean, some Zimbabwe teachers are already demanding a salary increase of up to $580. Now, some might be wondering, is this not going to have any adverse effect on the educational sector in Zimbabwe, just as you've clearly talked about the educational gap Zimbabwe is going through?
Yes, definitely. This will really affect the educational gap in Zimbabwe. There is no doubt, because actually the teacher unions are calling for government to hear out their pleas and give them what they want. They've been asking for the minimum paid teacher to receive $520 going up. And this is the money that teachers used to use when Zimbabwe was using the US dollar 100%. But when we moved to use when the Zimbabwean dollar was reintroduced into the system, their salaries were then changed from the US dollar to the Zimbabwean dollar. And when converted right now, the amount is not even 300, is not equivalent to 300 United States dollars. Anyway, earlier I spoke to OBERT MASARAURE, who is the president of Amalgamated Rural Teachers of Zimbabwe, and this is what he had to say.
You realize we have a shortage of almost 90,000 teachers, with the teacher-learner ratio ballooning up to 1:120. Even if we're going to absorb all the teachers who are out of employment, we'll still have a shortage of teachers in Zimbabwe. What the government of Zimbabwe should focus on is to become a competitive employer so that we do not suffer the imminent brain drain which is going to come through. We have been losing teachers on a daily basis, and we want this to come to an end, and it can only be stopped by remunerating these teachers well so that we retain them in our schools. Our public education is on the verge of collapsing because of an acute teacher shortage. If we are going to be entering into an agreement of exporting teachers, we should be working on a way of mass production of the teacher resource from our teacher institution. Then we can be able to.
All right, Lala, listen to OBERT MASARAURE talking about the shortage there. But do you think the Zimbabwe government will be motivated to let this? We know it's supposed to be mutual benefits between the two countries, Rwanda and Zimbabwe, but from a Zimbabwe government point of view, won't they block this to avoid the brain drain?
You know, there's also politics at play here. Remember, Rwanda is quite a favorite right now in the world, and they are doing quite big even in the Commonwealth. And Zimbabwe actually is counting on Rwanda to help with the negotiations in readmitting Zimbabwe back into the Commonwealth. So this could be maybe a deal that is going to be struck, but it will be at the expense of Zimbabwe at the end of the day. Yeah. They may get us back to the Commonwealth, but then we'll still lose teachers, drain brain, like what OBERT MASARAURE was referring to. And Zimbabwe will still be in a lot of deficit when it comes to teachers, which means there will be need for extra and mass production of new teachers back into the system. So we don't know how this is going to play out. If this is how it's going to play out, Zimbabwe gives out teachers, Rwanda helps Zimbabwe back into the Commonwealth. Well, let's see how it plays out.
And perhaps Nigerian teachers gets to play in this film too. Anyway, thank you so much, Lala Ngwenya, our correspondent from Zimbabwe, Harare, on the issue about Rwanda looking to hire many teachers from Zimbabwe. Thanks once again, Lala. Well, you're watching Breakfast Central on News Central. A quick recap of what we brought to you so far so good on the program.
We talked about how thousands rallied to back the Tunisian president in Tunisia.
Also, Nigeria's president honors a late hero in the country.
And talking about mysterious deaths, there's been calls to intensify to exhume Mugabe's remains.